All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back to the channel. You know what I've learned as a public figure? You know, now that I have 25,000 subscribers, you know what I've learned? You always got to reinvent yourself, you know? If you're just the same old guy all the time, your videos are going to get boring. So you got to just constantly reinventing yourself. And that's why I'm wearing this weird shirt and I've got my hat on backwards. Because you're like, who is this guy? And it's like, this is the new me. Up until 25,000, I was like kind of like a, I don't know, whatever you'd call me. And now I'm like a weirdo preppy kid pretending to be 15 years old in the 90s. That's what I am now. So thank you everyone for the support on the 25,000 subscribers. Actually, I'm being totally serious about that. Now I'm not being serious anymore. I was serious. Now I'm not being serious. Although, I don't know, this doesn't really feel like it's going to be a very serious video. Because what we're going to talk about Vitor Belfort. We're going to talk about him fighting Oscar De La Hoya. And we're going to talk about Diego Sanchez's future plans as a boxer. So yeah, not a very serious video. Just not very serious, right? In general. Not very serious. Unless, unless. It's not going to be that serious. So if you like the content, subscribe and ring the bell. I have 25,000 subscribers. I never thought I'd get here. I knew. I didn't know how long it would take, and I actually think it took faster than I expected. But we're here. I appreciate the help. I went live and I had a conversation with you guys about it, and I feel real good about that. But today, we are getting serious, but not really. All right, so Vitor Belfort is going to fight Oscar De La Hoya in his Triller debut. And I guess this is Oscar De La Hoya's Triller debut, unless you consider that thing that he did during the Jake Paul fight where he was like, I want to get back in there. I want to get serious. This Jake Paul thing is serious. Everybody needs to get, you got to understand, like you got that burning desire inside of you. Everyone's like, what's happening right now? Why is Oscar De La Hoya still talking? He's like, you just, and if I haven't said it before, like in the last video or two, I don't make fun of people for having drug problems, except for right now. And I don't know why I'm doing it. I actually don't feel good about it. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm sorry. It just kind of applies to my take on this fight, which is that you've got two guys who are, I believe Oscar's like 50. I probably should have looked that up. And you got Vitor, who I believe is like 44, 45, right? So both past their prime. And both have been ingesting substances, right? They've both been ingesting substances. Now, which substance is most likely to have a positive impact on your performance? Blow or juice? Blow or juice? One of them makes you strong and dangerous. The other one makes you feeble and crazy. So, you know, I mean, I guess the best of both worlds would be to do both, right? Do both. Juice and blow, and then you're dangerous and you're crazy, and then you just don't know what a guy's gonna do. But here's my thoughts on it, right? So Vitor Belfort, I believe the smallest he's ever fought was 185 pounds, right? I think the biggest that Oscar ever fought was around 157 pounds. So we got a slight size gap, right? I have no idea. They're just doing this thing. If they're doing this thing where they meet kind of, you know, like if the idea is that Jake Paul is Logan Paul is equivalent to Vitor Belfort and Oscar De La Hoya is equivalent to Floyd Mayweather. So you had the Logan Paul, Floyd Mayweather thing. And so Oscar's like, hey, just give me a guy like that. Just give me a big guy like that. And so Oscar thinks he's like Floyd Mayweather and he thinks Vitor Belfort is like Logan Paul. I think he's going to be very sadly mistaken with how that's going to go because Vitor ain't Logan Paul and Oscar ain't Floyd Mayweather, right? So where any intelligent person could have seen that what was going to happen in that Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather fight was that Floyd was going to try to make him tired. You know, he was going to try to make him swing a lot. He wasn't going to get hit because he's obviously not going to get hit by a person who has the experience that Logan Paul does. And it was going to be basically impossible for him to knock Floyd. Good God, all these people's names, how are you supposed to keep track of them? It was going to be impossible for Floyd to knock Logan out because he has brittle hands and he's little, right? Like everybody could have seen that, right? Of course. Now, how do you guys think this is going to play out for Oscar De La Hoya, who hasn't fought in 20 years and, or I guess it's, 16 years, and Vitor Belfort, who when on juice is one of the most terrifying human beings ever. So like, you know, like the end of the Logan Paul, the round one when he was throwing bombs at Floyd and it was like, whoa, he's going crazy. He's really getting in there. I mean, I knew what he was doing. I knew what Floyd was doing, but I didn't think Logan Paul was doing anything wrong. So you picture that, except let's just imagine that you're not as good as Floyd at not getting hit. And you're more like Oscar De La Hoya, except Oscar De La Hoya plus a decade of Let's get serious. I don't know why I have such raging confidence right now. And then you have Vitor Belfort, who has done nothing but smash faces for the last 100 years, and he's been training this whole time because he thought he was going to fight and won. I have a feeling that this is not going to go the same way as that Floyd Mayweather and Logan Paul fight. I think this is going to go with Vitor smashing Oscar's face in. Okay? That's my guess. Juice versus Blow. I'm going with Juice, especially when it's attached to a fighter who's taken no breaks and has been fighting since he was 3 years old, versus a guy who's been doing Blow for the last 15 years. That's my guess. That's my guess. That's my guess. Now, switching gears and talking about Diego Sanchez. If anybody's wondering, if you watch my live and then you're like, geez, Jesse's really kicked it up a notch since then, what happened? Answer. I did a video about Megan Rapinoe becoming the first not the first, whatever, they're replacing the Victoria's Secret Angels with Megan Rapinoe, and it literally broke my brain. And I turned into this person who is incapable of taking anything seriously anymore, right? When I'm on a live, I'm just hanging out with you guys, right? When I do a story like that where it's oh my gosh, Megan Rapinoe, she's going to replace the Victoria's Secret Angels. And then, where I'm taking everything seriously, I'm having a normal, kind of genuine engagement. It's the world is this is a simulation. There's no way this is real. The world this can't be real. It can't be real. I can't take anything seriously if this is what's going on, because it just means I'm not in the real world. I'm in some kind of weird, woke simulation, because no corporation would be that stupid. The Victoria's Secret models, Megan Rapinoe. What on earth do those two things have to do with each other, other than Megan Rapinoe stands for shaming anyone who would aspire to look like a Victoria's Secret model? So you're going to take the historical, most successful, you know what? I'll let you guys watch that. I did that video on Jesse on Everything. I would encourage you to give it a look. Now we can talk about Diego Sanchez, who apparently is moving over into boxing, and he has some very weird trainer. I mean, you know what? I'm not going to shit on Diego. I'm just going to say this. I hope Diego does very well. I hope he gets a good boxing match. I hope he gets a lot of money at the end. That's what I've got. Subscribe to the channel. Ring